Alright, I got a BB unit, orange and white, one of a kind, has many secrets, including that of a secret Jedi Knight hidden in the Outer Rim. Do I have $100? Do I have $100 for this precious, round piece of joy?
Where's my droid?
Going once, going twice. Sold to the ace pilot with the dreamy eyes. Now I have an R2 unit. Now this one is spunky, this one is sassy, this one has a lot to say. But he is heroic at best and where it counts in the core. Do I have 200 going for this R2 unit? He is a relic, he is a vintage. $200 for the R2 unit.
R2-D2.
I'm pretty sure droids can't buy droids, sir. 200 for the R2 unit. Going once.
We'll take that one.
I'm pretty sure you're dead, sir. Going once, going twice, and sold to the Wookiee that I hope this droid does not try to play hollow chess with. Finally, I've got a real prize for you guys. It's just for you guys, just for you. It is an R5 unit. This one is in perfect condition. Actually, he just went on discount. I would be remiss to say that all droids are underrated. I mean, look at R2-D2 and C-3PO. The first 6 movies especially, they get the most done. It's like their story, we're just living in it, but they don't get any of the credit. Never underestimate a droid, indeed. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be talking about the droids that remained in the background that were even more unnoticed than our tried and true heroes have ever been. This could be in movies, TV show, comic books, legends, and it won't be in any specific order ranking from most to least because let's be real with ourselves, I am always full of chaos and this is a new year but not a new me. Number 1. Medical Droid, aka 21B. Part of the Rebel Alliance to restore the Republic during the Galactic Civil War, you'll probably more commonly recognize 21B from this.
Take care, sir.
As he was the droid stationed on Echo Base who treated Luke in the Bacta tank after he'd been attacked by the Wampa. I say he in reference to this droid and many of the droids I will be gendering because I've never realized I was going to learn how genders of droids are determined, and that's apparently all in their manufacturing. Their settings determine whether they are male or female, and in this case, it was a male droid. But anyway, 21B had such good bedside manner with humans, thanks to his extensive experience since the Old Republic, that Luke deliberately requested that it be him that attaches his new hand. In Legends, the droid that we see in Empire Strikes Back actually defected from the Empire after serving under Lord Huyang of planet Firo. Lord Huyang took 21B as his own personal medic regardless of the good the droid offered civilians. While 21B had the outlook that a life was a life and he would save anyone regardless of their stance in the war, he yearned to serve on a side he deemed morally correct. This time would come, of course, when one of Kuvier's aides murdered him. True to programming, 21B would attempt to heal him despite how much he despised Kuvier. During the process, he learned that the aide that murdered Kuvier was actually a spy for the rebellion named Tay Vanis, and would accompany him back to his base, officially becoming a medical droid for the rebellion. Eventually, he would go on to become the chief of surgery. And if I learned anything from Scrubs,
Chief coming through.
this is kind of a big deal. Number 2, MSE6, aka the Mouse Droid. Next up, we have a Roomba. I mean MSE6, the Mouse Droid, which is essentially what they were, galactic Roombas. I may or may not have placed these guys on the list because of how fun they were to play in the LEGO Star Wars games. While later models would eventually lead them to containing the skill sets of slicing and surveillance, their primary function was to clean whatever floor they were assigned to or quickly deliver messages. They're pretty simple beings and fly by incredibly unassuming. You'll mostly see them in canon whizzing around the floor of the Death Star, one of which is featured in the short story collection From a Certain Point of View, which reveals that while these little guys do relay messages, it's heavily hindered by the code they produce. In that case, the Mouse Droid delivered secret love notes between a stormtrooper and his superior officer, completely unbeknownst to what was going on between the two men because this droid was very simple, much like most mouse droids. Number 3, 000 and BT1, aka Dr. Aphra's droids. These two are definitely a package deal, kind of like if R2-D2 and C-3PO went through their emo phase together. 000 and BT1 are mainstays of the Vader and Dr. Aphra comics. Originally deemed as manufactured rejects for their sheer chaos of their personality matrices, The two were awakened by Darth Vader and the space archaeologist Dr. Aphra. Considering the two were their new masters, 000 thought better of shaking their hands, as he would likely accidentally kill them through electric shocks. Both droids specialize in torture and get great pleasure of accomplishing their goals, but are mostly obedient to whoever they serve first and foremost, no matter how blood-hungry they get. BT1 and R2 actually get into a brawl at one point, one of which Luke suggests that R2 won, but 000 warns him of taunting the droid because BT's tantrums have been known to blow up entire ships. 000, for his part, is equally parts polite and intelligent, as he is absolutely obsessed with the concept of torturing people to the brink of squealing and or death. While they do significantly respect droids more as opposed to sentient beings, they still get their jollies on destroying them whenever they can. For instance, there was that time when BT burned all the former battle droids of Geonosis and 000 only laughed hysterically in response. Number 4, Professor Huyang. In case you were wondering if there was someone kicking around in Star Wars that was older than Yoda, meet Professor Huyang, a Mark IV architect-droid professor that existed some 1,000 years before the events of the Clone Wars and spent all that time teaching Jedi younglings how to construct a lightsaber. One of those younglings was even Master Yoda. Seen in the Clone Wars TV series aboard the Crucible and voiced by David Tennant, Huyang became a force of his own in the sense that he used his centuries of knowledge to be the most fitting for accompanying younglings to the planet Ilum in order to help them use their recently assembled kyber crystals into lightsabers. Despite being a droid, he developed a very old personality to fit his millennia of age and carried a lot of wisdom that anyone, even those skeptical of learning from a non-force sensitive being, warmed up to quickly. He had created his own memory bank of every type of lightsaber ever created under his tutelage, and had proclaimed to never lose a fight. Even after beheaded, he still continued to defend initiates when they were invaded by Hondo Ohnaka and the band of pirates. After being recovered, his head was screwed back on and he was back in business to continue to show Jedis the way to construct a lightsaber. Number 5, WA7, Flo. Recognizable as the waitress at Dex's Diner in Attack of the Clones, Flo was a truly exceptional waitress in part because she had a built-in receptor with the kitchen, giving her the ability to always know what was cooking and where it was supposed to be. If there was one thing in the galaxy she hated, it was bad tippers. What she does with her tip money, I do not know. She also heavily competed with the human waitress, Hermione Bagua, to be viewed as the superior waitress by Dexter Jettster, but like I said, had some advantages considering she never even had to take a break. She did, however, get caught flirting with the dishwasher unit a time or two. I mean, there might be a category on fanfiction.net for them because you guys are into some crazy stuff. In Legends, Flo helped a member of the Erased escape, which were a group of runaways who erased the memories of their own existence who would otherwise be convicted for treason by the Empire. She did so by stowing a blaster in a pot and transported it secretly while stormtroopers were attacking Dex's Diner, who also had to go underground. Number 6, RA7. Are you ever looking at C-3PO and you're like, boy, I wish you had a big insect face? Well, look no further because a lot of unused 3PO ideas bloomed into becoming RA7 droids, who appeared twice in A New Hope. Once in a sandcrawler with a shiny finish, and the second time with the Death Star with a paint job. The concept art behind this guy shifted quite a bit, deviating a lot more like C-3PO aside from the head for Star Wars The Clone Wars, and then back to Ralph McQuarrie's original concept art when it came to appear in Star Wars Rebels. The most notable RA7 droid was no doubt AP5, who used to serve as a navigator aboard a Galactic Republic attack cruiser, which would eventually be taken over by the Empire. He would then be demoted to merely an inventory analyst. Considering how Imperials treated people, it's easy to believe that they weren't too kind to their droids either. So when Chopper of the Ghost Crew showed up aboard the cruiser, AP5 decided to assist in Chopper's escape and went with him on a small vessel, eventually even supplying a suitable rebel base for the rebellion. He was a sassy little thing, as our favorite droids always have been, but became fearlessly loyal to his new masters and defended the newly established rebel base on numerous occasions. You also may have noticed an RA7 droid behind the bar in the 7th episode of The Mandalorian. You know, before he blew up. Number 7, EV99. We learned in The Mandalorian with IG-11 units that droids are essentially their programming through and through. This becomes excellent in cases like IG-11, who, spoiler alert, could be transitioned from a bounty hunting droid to a nursery droid. However, in the case of EV99, or 99 for short, not that 99, as well as with BT1 and 000, programming can mean the difference between a passive and harmless droid into something truly sadistic. 99 loved one thing and one thing only: torturing fellow droids, taking them apart as slowly and painfully as possible until they were down to their bare parts, as seen in Return of the Jedi. This genuinely used to upset me as a child. Mir and Data were the manufacturers of the Evie series supervisor droids and actually held a massive recall because while they would start as peaceful worker droids, there was a defect that would cause them to eventually sabotage and brutalize other droids. 99, luckily for Jabba the Hutt, was one of the few to escape this recall as he bought her and reprogrammed her to be in charge of his droid pool. In Legends, she first hung out in Cloud City and was able to torture and destroy a quarter of the droids in the entire city. While there, she installed a third eye that would allow her to see what was the equivalent of pain in droids, which looked something like insane static. She would later view Lando's presence at Jabba's palace as a personal revenge against her for what she did to the droids in his city, even if both their being there was actually pure coincidence. Number 8. 4-LOM. I was genuinely going to talk about IG-88, but this is supposed to be a list of underrated droids, and I don't think IG-88 quite meets that mark considering how many people are obsessed with him, and it's become even more intense because the IG series has gotten a new spotlight on it because of Season 1 of The Mandalorian, so I felt like I would go for the second most renowned bounty hunter droid in that little matchup. 4-LOM was initially assigned to a luxury liner, but logic glitches and personality software corruption allowed 4-LOM to override his programming. While most LOM droids just needed a reboot to get back to normal, 4-LOM took advantage of the glitch and rewrote his programming and became a galactic thief and later a bounty hunter. He was usually seen traveling alongside his fellow bounty hunter friend Zuckuss, who was a Gan Finsman and a species that LOM droids were actually designed to look like. He provided useful analysis and information to assist with the Force-sensitive Zuckuss. His motivation upon being later investigated was revealed to be because he simply loved crime and money. In Legends, 4-LOM's motivation became dictated more by his loyalty to Zuckuss than to the life that they led. They were still ruthless and took in many bounties, but after Zuckuss was injured, their money went towards trying to fund his treatment. When the rebels healed Zuckuss, both joined the rebellion and tried to assist in rescuing Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt, even before Luke and company would try to. They failed tremendously, leaving 4-LOM nearly fatally injured, but Zuckuss was able to fix him, in the process completely wiping his memory. Thus, 4-LOM came back to the cold and calculative killer and bounty hunter he once was. Number 9. HK-47. I guess spoilers if you have no idea how Knights of the Old Republic works, story-wise that is, because HK-47 is really a huge part of that. Constructed shortly after the Mandalorian Wars by none other than Darth Revan, who needed to determine more subtle ways of destroying his enemies, was programmed to act as an assassin droid. During his time as Revan's droid, he murdered countless threats to Revan's idealistic galaxy, but was nearly destroyed once captured and submitted into Mandalorian space. Per protocol, his memory was wiped and would only return if he was reunited with his old master and completed his mission. Instead, he was sold from master to master in the Outer Rim. Meanwhile, Revan himself was captured by the Jedi Order. I'm not going to go too in-depth on Revan because that sounds like a different video for a different day to me, but Revan was an extremely powerful and evil Sith Lord on the times of the Old Republic, who was trying to essentially destroy the Jedi. You know, something new. However, Revan also had his memory erased soon after his capture and never learned about his sinister past, going on to become a Jedi and trying to destroy the ancient factory known as the Starforge, which Revan himself used as a Sith Lord back in the day. The two would be reunited without knowing who the other was and would pal around together, trying to stop Revan's former Sith apprentice who betrayed him, Darth Malak, from using the Starforge to take over the galaxy. Once Revan regains his memory, HK-47 also regains his own and is surprised to find that his master is much more compassionate than before, but comments that he is still very capable of destruction if pushed to that point. HK-47 would later unite with Mitra Sunak, aka the Jedi Exile, and would show her all the ways he used to murder Jedi and previous foes in order to help her learn to better defend herself and what to look for. HK-47 would live on in a central computer for about 4 millennia, but would later come back to life when convincing spacers to put his AI technology back in his body so he could form his own droid army. And this is after Return of the Jedi, so HK-47, he really does chill throughout a lot of things. And there is so much more to it than this. Like I said, a different video for a different day. I could talk about Revan quite a bit, so I'm gonna leave it here. Number 10, R5-D4. Seriously, according to From a Certain Point of View's The Red One, there was nothing mechanically wrong with R5-D4. He was in top-notch condition and even had been inspected prior. However, when bunking with R2, he'd heard about R2's important quest and mission to bring peace to the galaxy.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
When R5 was chosen, and R2 expressed great concern over this because he needed to be free of the Jawas in order to complete his mission, R5 sacrificed everything he'd ever wished and hoped for, enjoyed his few moments in the sun, and subsequently sabotaged himself so R2 would get picked. It's just a fine example that not only do all heroes not wear capes, not all heroes live and breathe. Oh, well, there you have it, the most underrated droids in the galaxy. You too, R2CQ. Who are your favorite underrated droids in Star Wars? Who are your favorite regular droids in Star Wars? Let me know in the comments below, and may the Force be with you guys. Have a great day. Hey, we're matching. Oh, hello there. Show R2-D2 exploding everything. The best part about the prequels is how much they let him mess shit up. And waiting your entire— I keep pointing. Why do I keep pointing? Anyway, BB.